Hello guys, my name is Destruct, and today I wanted to discuss Uncharted 4, in particular the aspects of the game which were most disappointing. Uncharted 4 is one of the best games I've ever played, so please take into account that what I'm saying is the small details which prevented the game from getting a 10 out of 10. There will be plenty of spoilers in this video, so if you're yet to play Uncharted 4, be sure to click off, but do drop a quick like before you go. Now the first thing I wanted to address was the absolutely awful and unnecessary boss battle at the end of the campaign. This was the sword duel with Rafe. Overall this battle was disappointing, and it actually kind of spoiled the entire ending of the game for me. The controls were clunky and difficult, yet extremely simple, teaming the battle just completely terrible for gameplay. It also went on for too long and was too repetitive, with you just pressing the same two buttons over and over again. I felt like Naughty Dog could have implemented a sword duel, but literally just had button mashing and quick time events as opposed to an open arena style fight. The second bad point about Uncharted 4 would be the AI, and not just the enemies either. I find no matter how next gen a game is, the AI always finds some way to get in the way or be this all-seeing god in a game, and it's really disappointing to see in a near-perfect game like Uncharted 4. The AI first really bothered me in a stealth section, where what I was planning on doing was basically to hide in the undergrowth a reasonable distance from a group of enemies and just toss 4 grenades in different directions to distract and eliminate as many enemies as possible. What happens is, despite nobody seeing me throw the grenade, all of the enemies suddenly know my exact location, and Nathan immediately jumps out of cover because he is apparently spotted. It really ruined what could have been an epic surprise attack. Friendly AI also got in the way a lot in the stealth section with Elena when you were trying to reach your car. She was just moving back and forth in the same piece of the cover, out completely in the wide open. It was just kind of ridiculous to watch as the game struggled to put other characters in a convenient place for the player. This was also a major problem in Madagascar with Sam and Sully, just made doubly worse as there was an extra friendly AI. They were just randomly moving around from the same pieces of cover, and despite them being clearly in the view of enemies, they were not noticed. Another point about, not really the AI, but the enemies in general, firstly the same character models were repeated over and over again. I get that they have uniforms and they're like mercenaries, but you can see the same two enemies wearing the same hat with the same hair. I swear there are only about 10 different enemy character models or something. Also, enemies look so ridiculous when they were looking for you, as when they finished their search, they'd both sort of, like, say there's 2 mercenaries, they'd meet with another mercenary, and they'd have the same conversation every time, just like, I checked over there, okay, check over there, and it just went on forever, and it's just so uncreative. Now, for the next point, I wanted to just look at either chapters or combat encounters in particular, which were definitely lacking. The obvious one, which I already mentioned, was the boss battle at the end, which was possibly one of the worst, but by far the worst of all was the exploding statues in Avery's tunnels. This was such a badly designed chapter. It was basically you and Elena trying to find Avery's treasure, but you had to travel through these dark tunnels. There were these statues which, when you went near them, would explode. This same statue design repeated over and over again for possibly 20 minutes of gameplay, and it was just terrible playing through it, just boring and uncreative level design. Not only were the statues annoying, but the actual gunfights in these tunnels were awful, because there was no space to retreat if enemies got too close, and at one point they sent in a Juggernaut, and it was so hard to get rid of him because there was nowhere you could retreat to, and no grenades anywhere to fight him with. Generally, the tunnel section was just a bit of a filler and didn't really contribute anything to the game. I think if it was a short section it would have been more acceptable, but it went on for probably over half an hour, I think, and it was just not a good section. Now, quickly talking about the multiplayer in the game, I thought the multiplayer was decent, definitely not exemplary or particularly amazing, but a decent feature. What I had a problem with was the extreme punishment for poor connection, and also the extremely powerful connection needed to play. With even a game like Battlefield 4, when everyone in my house is using the internet, I could play smoothly on a 64-player, 45Hz tick rate server, yet Uncharted 4, a 5 versus 5 mode, cannot run when other people are using the internet in my house. It requires an absurdly powerful connection to run smoothly, and even if the internet is slightly slower than usual, it just freezes up and doesn't let me do anything. The game should be able to run smoothly since it only has 10 players per match. This basically prevents me from playing the multiplayer at all. Not everyone has fibre optic internet, so it's kind of ridiculous to punish players so harshly for having slightly slower internet. that's all I have for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to drop a like and let me know down in the comments what you thought was disappointing in Uncharted 4. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time. Peace.